today, lads, we're going to be talking about Caitlin Clark and Unrivaled.
And it looked like the Unrivaled CEO has broken his silence about Caitlin Clark turning down their offer.
The Unparalleled CEO recently released a bombshell regarding Caitlin Clark. The information that was disclosed reveals dark secrets kept behind closed doors. This story won't be covered by sports networks. Players are bailing ship, and billion-dollar agreements are collapsing. The world of women's basketball is in disarray, but there's more. Every basketball fan will be shocked by the sinister brewing beneath the surface. I've discovered information that could put careers in jeopardy. Allow me to show you what's actually going on.
I think Unrivaled would be incredibly dumb if they're not doing whatever they can to try to get Caitlin Clark in for next year. Because look, she's not going to be playing this year. But you just never know. She might just decide, you know what, screw it.
The secret is finally out, and it's bigger than anyone could have imagined. The CEO broke his silence about Caitlin Clark, and trust me, what he revealed changes everything we thought we knew about women's basketball. Before we dig into this bombshell, you need to understand that this isn't just about a $1 million deal anymore. We're talking about the complete transformation of women's basketball as we know it. I've spent the last 48 hours going over every detail of this story, and what IFO.
Now, it looked like the Unrivaled CEO, Alex, definitely did an interview when he spoke about Caitlin Clark. Last time we talked about Unrivaled, Kelsey Plum was the latest player so far to drop out of this Unrivaled league. The news shook the world. Everybody was shocked by it. I'm here to tell you, it was definitely surprising.
There's a lot going on here that the mainstream media isn't covering. So let's start by talking about the infamous expansion from 30 to 36 players. They're trying to convince us that it was all about Alyssa Thomas, but I've been in this business long enough to know that when something doesn't add up, you don't just restructure an entire league for one player. That's not how this business works. The timing of all of this is what really caught my attention. I have sources within the organization telling me that this was a desperate attempt to save face.
Alex is definitely trying to save face, because he's letting it be known, they did everything they had to do to possibly persuade Caitlin to come. They did everything they did, to get her to come to this league. But unfortunately, like we ultimately know, Caitlin Clark team released a post to ESPN stating that she will not be taking part in the Unrivaled League this year.
Let me give you a behind-the-scenes look at what's actually going on with this $1 million offer to Caitlin Clark. It wasn't just about getting her to play. It was about survival. The league had already begun taking action based on the assumption that she would be there. We're talking about massive marketing campaigns, merchandise sales, TV commercials, all focused on Caitlin Clark as the face of Unrivaled. But this is where things get really interesting. According to my contacts in the television industry, TNT is currently freaking out over the media deal they signed, which was based on projections that included Caitlin Clark's star power. Without her, the numbers don't look nearly as attractive, and we're talking about possible renegotiations, altered expectations, some quite anxious executives, and I think they're in a lot of difficulty right now, even though TNT offered them a media deal for.
I believe at this point, they're in a heap of trouble, dog. TNT gave them a media deal for this league. They were selling a bunch of tickets prior to all this information came out about Caitlin, and ever since then, it's just been looking real bad for the Unrivaled League.
In that interview with The Ringer, the CEO tried to be nice, but let me tell you what's really going on. When he stated they respect her decision and want to see her next year, that was just damage control. There were heated talks, several offers, and even some last-minute attempts, according to people close to the negotiations I spoke with.
Being reported that Unrivaled boss confirms Caitlin Clark's decision at the breakaway league leaves spot open for WNBA star. Caitlin Clark's decision to skip the inaugural season of Unrivaled has now been confirmed by its president. And so, just like I stated, man, Alex definitely is confirming that, they spoke to Caitlin team. I don't know if they spoke to her specifically, but he claiming that she ain't want to take part in this.
Now, let's discuss the global perspective that isn't being covered. Everyone is concentrating on the domestic effects, but this tale has much more to it. The international markets are keeping a careful eye on this issue. I've heard that European teams are planning large bids for WNBA stars, seeing this as their opportunity to take advantage of Unrivaled's vulnerability. The league had secured partnerships, sponsorships, and investments based on their projected roster. Now, all of those deals are being reevaluated. I've seen some of the numbers, and believe me, it's not pretty. What's even more concerning is the ripple effect this is having on other players. The financial ramifications of this situation are staggering. We're not just talking about Caitlin Clark's potential salary. I've heard from agents that their clients are becoming anxious after witnessing what transpired with Wilson and Clark Plum, and they are beginning to doubt their own pledges, which might result in a large. It's especially intriguing that no one is ready for the WNBA viewpoint. The Indiana Fever believed they had struck gold with Caitlin Clark, but now they are caught in the middle of this power struggle. The league is having serious conversations about how to handle this. Should they form their own off-season league or collaborate with already existing organizations? These are the questions that need to be answered. The league had been organizing promotional events, photo shoots, and media appearances centered around players who aren't even going to be there. He conveniently left out some important details when he attempted to explain away the expansion as being about Alyssa Thomas. The player safety aspect of this whole situation is something we need to talk about. One of the main selling points of Unrivaled was keeping players from having to go overseas, but now that the league's future is in doubt, players are facing some difficult decisions that have an impact on real careers. Another significant issue that isn't receiving enough attention is the league's financial structure. I've seen documents that demonstrated how much they relied on star power to power their business model. Without these important players, the league's entire economic foundation is, at best, precarious. What's happening now is a desperate attempt to salvage what's left of their original vision. They're reaching out to other players in an attempt to fill these roster spots, but the damage may already be done. The prestige, excitement, and momentum are all suffering greatly. What keeps me up at night are the long-term effects on women's basketball. We are witnessing a possible paradigm shift in real time. Despite all efforts to modify it, the conventional paradigm of players augmenting their WNBA revenue overseas may be here to stay, which is not necessarily a good thing for the development of sports in America. The coming weeks will be key. The CEO may be attempting to provide a positive image, but the truth is far more nuanced and worrisome. I'm hearing rumors of more announcements, more players making choices, and more behind-the-scenes actions that might change the landscape of women's basketball. Let me explain some shocking new information that recently arrived on my desk. My sources at TNT have given the actual audience forecasts they were working with. We're talking about anticipated numbers that, in the absence of Caitlin Clark, would have rivaled several NBA regular season games. These estimates are being reduced by 40 to 50%. That is a total recalculation of the league's value, not only a minor modification. Additionally, I have access to internal records that demonstrate the sponsorship agreements that were in effect. We're talking about major brands. Based on the unparalleled star power, Fortune 500 corporations had committed millions of dollars. These weren't simply standard endorsement deals, they were organizing entire product lines, marketing campaigns, and national advertising blitzes centered around the league's best stars. We need to discuss the ripple impact in college games. According to NCAA coaches, their players are closely monitoring the situation, and the prospect of playing year-round in America is beginning to seem uncertain. As soon as they graduate from college, top recruits are already inquiring about international prospects. Let's take a moment to discuss numbers. Unrivaled's original business plan was predicated on a 3-year growth forecast, with the first year being used to build credibility with celebrities like Caitlin Clark. The entire time frame is now in jeopardy. In year 2, the player base would grow. In year 3, international growth would occur. The state of the institution is worse than anyone has reported. I've seen the practice venue contracts, and a lot of them are still unsigned. The league relied on star power to negotiate better terms. Without it, they would have to pay more and have fewer options. No one else is discussing the insurance ramifications, which is why several of the potential host towns are already pulling out. Participating in several leagues leads to complex coverage problems. Due to coverage gaps across leagues, players are being pushed to take on greater personal risk than ever before, which might put their careers in jeopardy. The impact of social media has been astounding. Before and after Clark's decision, my team examined engagement data and found that the anticipated social reach had decreased by more than 60%. Millions of potential admirers and eyeballs have simply vanished. The algorithms are already changing so that users see fewer unmatched stuff. International colleagues provide full lifestyle benefits in addition to cash. I'm referring to opulent apartments, private chefs and personal drivers for players who wish to study during the season. Several European organizations are even offering educational incentives that are unmatched. Despite their public neutrality, the WNBA's stance is more nuanced than it seems. I've heard that they have been discreetly conducting feasibility studies, running figures, and speaking with possible partners about their own off-season league. This might be the motivation they required. Athletes' representatives are beginning to band together, and there is discussion about creating a single front to bargain with all leagues. WNBA, Unparalleled. International organizations desire contracts that are standardized. Guaranteed protections and regular medical coverage. This might completely change how women's basketball is played around the world. Another unseen issue is investments. Unparalleled had committed. These contracts, which range from millions to a specialized streaming platform, mobile apps, and social media integration, are currently being examined. The whole digital infrastructure may need to be scaled back because the creators are concerned about getting paid. This is shocking. Because they are worried about the league's financial health and the possible effects on their clients, a number of significant sports agencies are urging their clients to avoid participating entirely. When agents begin cautioning athletes about their WNBA careers, it's a big warning sign. Future grads who were considering Unrivaled are now evaluating alternative options because of the college pipeline. Some are speeding up their plans to travel abroad. Others are looking at opportunities in related entertainment or sports. The pool of talent for the upcoming season is rapidly shrinking, and mental health specialists are expressing concerns as well. These athletes are under tremendous pressure to manage multiple contracts, choose between competing opportunities, and maintain peak performance all year long. The psychological toll is something that no one is discussing, and game innovation plans are being abandoned. Unrivaled made some intriguing suggestions for changing the rules. Scoring systems and in-game technology are experiments that need player support and stable lineups. Without the star power they relied on, these innovations would never be implemented, and the merchandising situation is dire. Pre-production of player-specific products had already begun. Products in warehouses that may never be sold could result in millions of dollars worth of losses. Here's what's actually holding some merchants from canceling their orders. The timing couldn't be worse for women's basketball, which is experiencing unprecedented growth. If more celebrities follow Clark's example, if sponsors keep pulling back, or if venues start canceling, we might be witnessing the end of a league before it really starts. This isn't just conjecture, it's based on actual conversations taking place right now. Social media engagement is skyrocketing, TV ratings are rising, and young fans are more involved than ever. There may be a bright side to this crisis. It may compel the sector to confront long-standing problems. However, this volatility could halt that progress at a critical juncture. Management of the player compensation schedule. These issues with healthcare coverage require solutions. Sometimes a crisis is necessary to bring about significant change. Looking forward, I see three possible scenarios. 1. Accomplishment endures, but in a very altered shape. 2. The WNBA intervenes with their own summer fix. And 3. American basketball acknowledges a new reality as the global model continues to dominate. More players will have to make decisions in the coming months. You can bet that I'll be here to break it all down for you. This isn't just about basketball anymore, it's about the future of women's sports, athlete empowerment, and the entertainment industry. The decisions being made right now will reverberate throughout the industry for years to come. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and enable notifications. This story is far from over, and you don't want to miss what happens next. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for your support means everything. Keep yourself informed, be awake, and keep in mind that nothing is ever as it seems in the sports world.